But then I also want to know, like when just now you said have anxiety with the mother-in-law.
Oh, yang Christian tu.
Correct.
What is anxiety actually? And then like how can you have a anxiety with someone? Is it like when you see that someone, then terus what happened to you when you have anxiety?
Okay, so this kind of thing usually stems from many different possible reasons. Okay, so like anxiety as the term is very huge. So like even OCD is under obsessive compulsive disorder, is under anxiety.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, PTSD is also under anxiety. What else? Panic attack is also under anxiety. Yeah, so anxiety is very huge. Yeah, so for example, that client is more to a self-belief. So let's say okay, if go back to his childhood, it was apparently there's some okay, the parents were divorced, and then after that he was staying only with the mom.
Okay.
Yeah, so of course, mom juggling with 3 kids.
Okay.
The dad wasn't present, and then the mom being stressful, accidentally projected her anger, her anxieties, her worries all on the 3 children. But he being the elder got it first. Yeah,
Okay.
correct. So to the point, like let's say kalau nak cakap in our Malay mak punya saying is the elder supposed to take up some more responsibilities.
Okay.
So let's say maybe kemas rumah, buatkan susu adik. So let's say buat susu tertumpah, then the mom already scold him. Yeah, why you're so
Okay.
like, why you're so useless? Like, it's just a milk, you cannot make for your sister.
And he's very young.
Correct, and that was very young. So after many years, he lived with that. How do I say, that environment. It built into him kind of negative belief about himself, which is I will never be able to do simple tasks.
I see.
So technically, which leads on to I'm not good enough.
So
I'm useless.
it affected his confidence lah.
Correct. So he became a people pleaser. Yeah. So in the end, people pleaser. The mother-in-law is also very similar to the mom. Expects certain things from the son-in-law. Yeah. So when she feels that why is the daughter not getting attention or certain gifts from the husband, the mother-in-law will be like, questioning his work, questioning his how do I say this, his responsibility as a husband. So that brought upon him more stress. So
I see.
Yeah, so terlalu stress sampai he almost once he was suicidal. So when he came to me, asking me, do you counsel non-Muslim clients?
Okay.
Yeah, that was when I was MMI.
Okay.
So I said I'm open to it lah. So because I do have some non-Muslim clients, then after that he was like, okay, let me try a session, because my session is usually the first sessions are free.
Okay.
Yeah, I follow my supervisor style lah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So because primarily why is free? Because we are humans also. We do not know whether we can handle that case or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So must be fair for the client also lah. So Alhamdulillah, he's much more better now. After I think I met him last was 3 months ago.
Okay. He's better now.
He's better now. Correct.
So you mentioned just now that because he was put into positions of like responsibility at a very young age, it got to him to the point where he's like stressed up lah. So I believe he came to you feeling stressed up.
Correct.
But I'm not sure if he is the one who declared himself to have anxiety, or was it a diagnosis given by you?
Oh, okay. For counsellors or therapists, we don't really diagnose our clients.
Okay.
Only psychiatrists have that certificate to do
Okay.
that.
Then how do we know the problem is anxiety?
The symptoms. So
Okay,
for
I
example,
see.
for me, I rely on the DSM-5. There's a DSM-5 is a manual to it discusses all kinds of symptoms which relate to certain or every different kind of mental disorders lah. Yeah, so usually, and I deal with a lot, I don't know how many anxiety or anxious.
Sorry, what is DSM-5?
DSM-5 is a manual. I forgot.
So dia ada 5 apa?
No. Okay, DSM-5 is a upgrade. So macam kamus Dewan edisi ketiga, keempat, kelima. So DSM-5 is a big edition of that manual.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what's the long term for it.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's a standard guide that counsellors use.
Most counsellors.
Most counsellors use. Okay, I see.
Okay.
For me, I rely on it because to me, I believe although I have clocked in almost 4 to 5 years of experience, I think it's very handy when new clients come in with different or unique kind of symptoms lah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
see. Okay, that means so it cannot be something that the person comes to you with, like if so there might even be a misunderstanding of their own symptoms. So for example, let's say a client goes to you, say, bro, I have anxiety, and then you check the symptoms. Will you say no? You don't have anxiety.
No, I won't say that.
Isn't it?
I will never.
So I can't be a counsellor,
Too practical this one.
So according to my DSM-5, kau just so
Doesn't qualify.
I don't do that lah. I do have clients macam I got bipolar, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, so macam to me like okay, and I usually ask them lah, where did you get your self-diagnosed? Is it self-diagnosed or is it IMH diagnosed? Then secondly, I will ask them, okay, if you really believe that you have this disorder or this issue, so what's stopping you from getting a diagnosed letter or a letter from the doctor saying that you're diagnosed with this?
Okay.
You know, why do you want to become a counsellor? Yeah, so I will really ask them those questions before taking them in.
Okay.
Why? Because I don't want a situation where, let's say, like you mentioned macam like for that situation where I know I have this. Then when I slowly guide them through and I notice that they don't meet the criteria according to the DSM-5 manual, then I cannot be telling them, actually don't have You know, it will break their whole mindset yeah, although for some clients, if they are strong enough, yes, they can take it. To them it's like, Alhamdulillah, I always thought I've got anxiety. Alhamdulillah, I've always thought I'm struggling with depression. Yeah.
And it turns out that's not true.
Yeah, it's not true.
And some people can handle that lah.
Correct. Some can.
But some don't.
So again, it requires on his part an assessment of the client themselves whether you can handle when I tell you that you don't really have this problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So I think because sometimes there's value in there's usefulness in telling them that this is not your problem actually. Your problem is something else.
But kena ada cara lah. Kalau ikut cara you memang semua terus jump down the building. Tak tahu okay, sorry. No, tapi I also want to know, I'm curious to know, like what are some of the symptoms of anxiety actually?
Macam manual lah.
Yelah, kasih sikit lah, sikit.
Okay, so the main symptom, usually from my experience is 5. So it starts with overthinking, which is actually kind of normal. Yeah, but once these 5 comes together, then that person usually confirm got anxiety issue. And usually
overthinking,
overthinking. So usually GAD, generalized anxiety disorder. Yeah, so that's one of the 5 symptoms. The second one would be once overthinking start, there will be a form of negative thought or negative belief process. So let's say, maybe let's say someone with OCD. Okay, maybe did I turn off the iron just now? Padahal dia dah 5 to 6 to 7 times check.
Okay.
Tapi dia macam masih tak sure.
I see.
So because of this, because of them feeling stressed with the fact that they have OCD, they tell themselves, kenapa kau tak guna? You know, why are you so useless? Why can't you think? Why can't you remember this kind of thing? Yeah, so that negative thought process start, and then palpitations will start. So their heart start to beat very fast.
Oh, so the effects are physiological.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why in Islamic psychology, which I always most of the time deal with my clients in that way, if they wish to, our heart and our akal, our mind, are actually very related. Yeah, so I think going back to the hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said that there's a piece of the piece of flesh in our body. If it's sound, the whole body is sound. If it's unsound, the whole body is unsound, and that being the heart. And then our akal has the capacity, because our brain is a how do I say this? It's a mashallah thing that Allah has gifted us with. Yeah, so even negative thought can affect our heart. Yeah, so and it's very true because let's say for example if we to sit down on our own.
Even negative thoughts can affect our physical heart.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and too much negative thoughts, negative belief can actually harm the heart. Like heart attack because the heart starts to pump too fast, so on and so forth. Yeah. So Islamic psychology deals with that lah. So that's why I always deal with my clients with 4 things. Usually the heart, the mind, and then the ruh and the nafs. Yeah, the nafs, of course the lower ego.
Was it from Imam Al-Ghazali?
I believe so. I believe
like
so. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
See.
And then the nafsul lawama, nafsul amara bisu.
So of course this might not be present in secular
Western
or Western psychology because I think
But I think similar lah. Macam like if you are stressed, like bila you fikir banyak, then it releases stress hormones. Then your cells will be stressed. You know,
if you're using science to explain it, I'm not sure if there is if let's say in Western psychology, is there a link between the neurological activity and like palpitations?
Yes, there is.
They establish that kind of link.
But they don't really acknowledge it during therapy.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's what I noticed. I'm not sure maybe it's true or not, but from what I noticed and what I learned from my teachers, there seems to be a lack in the heart and the mind relationship.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's more of an Islamic psychology kind of thing.
I see. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so going back, the 3, the 4th, after palpitations, usually it will it starts to cold sweat.
Okay.
It's a sign.
Okay.
And then the worst one would be, how do I say this? I would say suicidal, but more to the ideation where they get very demoralized with the state that they are in.
Oh, okay.
So when all 5 of that comes in,
Demoralized? What do you mean?
okay, like for example, they very close to very close to suicidal, which is I don't want to live anymore. But this one is not like depression kind of level where I want to kill myself.
They macam just give up with life.
Give up, yeah.
Oh,
like I'm so
okay.
tired of having panic attacks. I'm just I don't know what to do anymore. So it's just
Okay.
yeah.
So that is one of the effects of anxiety.
Correct.
And but not all people who seem to have anxiety lead to that lah.
Yeah.
Kan? So there's like a slope that they might slide down
Correct.
in case of that happening. So I think there will also be clients where you try to nip it in the bud. Like for example, you try to address the anxiety issue before it escalates into something
yes.
worse. And I believe you have encountered clients throughout this spectrum that baru start anxiety dengan already all this way.
I do have sharing one of my clients. She cannot take the public transport at all.
Why?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because of simply because she was her background, she was actually stuck between 2 doors.
Oh dear.
Because it was very young, and then it became
trauma.
because the thing about our mind is that the moment we suppress certain belief, emotions, or memories, it becomes unconscious. So when we in the future, when we get triggered, we will escalate or we will be very bad. Because the body starts to wonder where is this coming from. Like macam tiba-tiba, and then I have clients macam coming to me and say, I don't know why I cannot take, I don't know. So when I try to ground them slowly, guide them back through their past, and then slowly this kind of things start to surface up. The
You managed
negative.
to uncover some of the episodes that might have
Correct.
arisen.
Yeah. So because of the incident when she was 12, she was stuck between 2 doors, and then she suppressed that memory. I think because the parents weren't supportive enough for her. The parents weren't there, and then when she was saved by I think her neighbor, she thought that she was crying, and then the parents it's just a door. So
Kira belittle dia punya.
Correct. So that
I see.
that when suddenly when her anxiety appeared, we got to know that because of the incident. So after I did exposure therapy, how I do
Exposure therapy.
Exposure therapy.
Okay.
So I will sit in with my client in the public transport. Yeah.
Okay.
So I will try which one would be better. Do you prefer the train first or the bus first? Yeah. So I will just sit with my client, and then it will proceed on to the furthest one would be I will meet her at point B, him or her at point B, and then she will she will take the train or bus from point A lah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Correct.
Okay.
In other words, you're trying to relive the experience of public transport without the incidents.
Yes.
And you're trying to make her overcome lah.
Correct.
I see,
Because
I see.
the whole idea for counselling is once we realize the trigger, our unconscious become conscious. Then that's where we are able to identify and acknowledge our weaknesses. Okay, let's say now I know I have this because and my trigger is this. So the next time I am feeling similar feelings or any tingling feelings that I think this is the same feeling that I experienced way before when I experienced that. At least you know where it's coming from. So the moment you know where it's coming from, that straight away you ground yourself. So it's the whole process of once you ground yourself, you feel that you are in the moment, you're in the present. Yeah. Then after that you're more mindful. then that's where it slowly when the because there's something called neuroplasticity lah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So when you keep on strengthening that so-called the
connections.
connection. Yeah. Once you establish that connection, strengthen it, then inshallah one day you just get over it lah.
I see.
Yeah.
But is it possible if the person doesn't know, like even if you try to uncover the past, the person doesn't know where it comes from, like where the fear comes from?
Yes. Sometimes yes.
Okay.
But I have not met that client before. My supervisor did. So she shared with me. She did because she's more psychodynamic, which psychodynamic usually take very long time to. They take longer.
What's the meaning? Sorry, of psychodynamic?
Technically, how do I say this? I don't really know the real definition of it. Yeah, because not trained in it. But what I noticed is quite, how do I say? It's a mixture of Freudian and Freudian punya concept lah, of blaming, not blaming, of going back to the childhood, the parents, how the parents treat them. So everything is on the parents lah, based on the Freudian concept. Yeah, semua salahkan mak bapak, semua salahkan mak bapak. Yeah, really. Yeah, that's the Freudian concept. So yeah, my supervisor shared with me her client met her for almost 6 years. After I think over 30 sessions, she still cannot help. So she gave up. She sought her help. She sought her supervisor help. Supervisor told her to ask her family member what happened when she was young.
Okay.
Yeah, but because sometimes we can't remember if we are young, too
Correct.
young, right?
Yeah. So that was the last session lah. So the moment my supervisor asked the client to explore her past with the aunties, got to know that the mom actually passed on while that her client was sleeping beside. So she was I think 9 months old. 9 months old.
Okay.
Yeah, was sleeping beside the mom. The mom did not wake up because the mom passed on.
I see.
So because of that, like she was crying, not not being able to understand the surrounding and all. So because of that, she went through so many issues during in her life.
I see.
Yeah, so that exploration.
9 months,
Correct.
But how do you find out? How do you find out about this?
Because how do I say? She had trouble with having a relationship, intimacy.
I see. Okay,
So
okay.
she's scared to love lah.
Correct.
And she doesn't know where it comes from.
Yeah.
But it was from 9 months old.
So because of that, suddenly when she got to know, then one more therapy was done, if I'm not wrong, or if not wrong, that was last therapy. Straight away she recovered from that.
Oh, okay.
Because
she was able
she discovered once you know where it comes from, then it's easier to.
So once you've identified
I see.
the source of anxiety lah, in a sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's quite interesting.
So far alhamdulillah tak pernah kena. Yeah.
I mean, I think all the more. I think maybe this is something that. Okay, going back to the mosque mania. I'm trying to find out why would they decline such an offer. Maybe because they don't understand that this is necessary in that sense, and
Maybe.
especially if you give an Islamic perspective to the solutions, which is what you offer, like, which is what you can give. Yeah, so I mean, listening to this, I have no doubt that these things are actually necessary because you help people to overcome issues that they might have faced when you were young. So maybe we can share a bit more. I'm so quite curious to know about.
Sure.
So these are the so-called mental issues that people face. Okay, how would you approach it from an Islamic perspective?
Islamic perspective. Okay, so usually the first session I will